Welcome to the second video of the submodule called Innovative Digital Tools for Enriched Tourism Experiences at Heritage Sites. The use of three-dimensional scanning and modelling in cultural heritage has grown in popularity due to the increasing availability of capture systems specifically designed for heritage objects, as well as improved hardware and software capabilities to process, store and display digital modules. 3D modelling is used to create digital copies of real heritage objects or sites, photogrammetric scanning, and also to recreate non-preserved versions of past reality, 3D reconstruction and recreation, that allow to better communicate the studies developed to understand heritage sites and their values for audiences of all ages. This technology can offer multiple possibilities for historic houses, such as create their own repositories of highly accurate 3D models of objects or of the buildings themselves, instead of relying on traditional 2D images. Preserve heritage pieces by ensuring a better conservation of the original ones and safety in case of loss, fire or catastrophe, for instance. Expand the collections beyond the physical realm of the historic houses with the creation of digital collections. Offer accessibility to unknown pieces or ones that are part of the collection reserve. Restore and replicate physical artifacts with 3D printing. With 3D printing, it's possible to manufacture a three-dimensional physical object from a digital model that has a wider range of possible uses. It can be an ideal tool for making heritage more accessible, allowing the visitor to take the copy, touch it, and spend more time appreciating it through the sense of touch. This is not usually possible with heritage objects, but, as we pointed out previously, touch interaction can enhance the learning process. Visitors could be even more engaged by being able to print their own 3D objects. Likewise, 3D printing can be used to increase accessibility for visually impaired visitors. In short, 3D scanning, modelling and printing technologies allow a more user-centred approach to experiences, and at the same time, they can play a very important role in the conservation of heritage. Another technological development that may improve the visitor experience is gamification. For some years now, tourism companies have introduced gamified applications in their strategies as marketing tools and facilitators of tourist participation and engagement with destinations. Gamification is defined as the selective integration of various game elements in a non-game environment in order to encourage user participation and involvement in the proposed experience. All games share a series of basic characteristics: objective, rules, setting, timing, voluntary participation, that are directly related to key motivational drivers of human behaviour: reinforcement, reward, and emotions. Rewards, such as money or fame, and incentives, such as a positive or pleasant emotion, lead human beings to repeat the activity that delivered that reinforcement. Games are capable of provoking strong emotions because their dynamics favour the immersion and engagement of the participant in their setting and story. In fact, the most successful gamification experiences cause behavioural changes through the formation of habits, according to the reward dynamics and the emotional response of the participants in the gamification activity. At heritage sites, the implementation of gamification experiences not only seeks to enhance the visit, but also to create awareness of the place visited by promoting informal learning about heritage. To date, the development of this type of game applications in heritage sites has followed different models. Here are a few of the main ones. Treasure hunt games, in which players have to solve tasks in different parts of the heritage site by collecting clues to find a treasure in the shortest possible time. In some cases, geolocation services based on sensors located in certain objects or places are integrated, which leads the participants to interact with with artifacts to complete the missions following the instructions of the application. Historical context games, in which the play experience takes place within a well-contextualized story that leads participants to discover significant aspects of the heritage site. Games with a real or fictitious character who is the guide that provides information about heritage assets. These character-based gamified experiences incorporate principles of storytelling and engage participants in a dramatized presentation of a historical location by following the visitors and providing them with information along a predefined tour, which is seen as a limitation in some cases. When designing a gamified experience for tourists in heritage sites, all parties involved should take into account the type of player it is intended for, as they are the real actors of the experience proposed. To be successful, the game should not be too easy, as it will quickly become boring, but it should not be too complex either. In other words, it shouldn't be so difficult to accomplish that very few people will end up playing it. In addition, the conceptualization and implementation of a gamified experience should follow the principles of game design, namely mechanics and dynamics. Mechanics refers to decisions about goals, rules, setting, context, types of interaction, and boundaries of the situation to be gamified. Dynamics includes the types of player behavior emerging during the game experience, such as betting or cheating, and positive or negative emotions, surprise, excitement, disappointment, etc. Other technological tools of great interest are interactive object recognition tables. They are touch screens that visitors can interact with by placing certain objects on them. The touch screen recognizes the object and responds to the user by displaying associated information. Interactive OR tables are a technology that is suitable for structuring complex information of diverse formats and displaying it in a way that is easy to understand and interact with. Interactive OR tables can integrate high-resolution images, videos, and graphics so that the user can intuitively move through different contexts, view material presented through different approaches, and even zoom in and focus on certain aspects of what is being displayed. These digital tools are widely used, mainly due to their look and feel of the familiar horizontal workspace and the possibility of interacting with hand gestures or common everyday-looking objects. Likewise, surveys carried out on the motivation to use these screens revealed that they promote a collaborative, more familiar, informative, and welcoming environment. The interaction is more complex for users that are not familiar with technology in the case of experiences in which large format projections are used. However, one of the advantages of this technology is that interaction is not limited only to touch, provided different sensors, cameras, and face recognition IA are integrated. With the use of chaining projectors, large format interactive projections can be created on the floor and on the walls to turn the visited destinations into fully immersive spaces. These types of digital exhibits use the latest digital tools to create user-centric experiences. They combine high-resolution projections with motion detection sensor and interactive software so that the visitor can use their own body, including hand and leg gestures, to interact with the projection. Finally, the holographic projects are able to create an image that has three-dimensional qualities but is still flat. However, many holograms today are technically three-dimensional images that are still displayed on two-dimensional surfaces. Holograms are generally used in applications that attempt to explain the history of an object, building, character, and allow it to be animated or brought to life. In other words, to make it more lifelike. This is the end of our video on innovative digital tools that can be used for our heritage site. We'll see you in the next video.